Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the powerful and, let's be honest, kind of perilous world of AI in finance. From the high-stakes chaos of Wall Street to that simple investing app on your phone, artificial intelligence is totally reshaping how money moves, and we need to talk about what that means for you. This isn't science fiction anymore. AI is already out there, making massive financial decisions, just churning through data at speeds no human could ever hope to match. Which brings us right to the heart of this explainer. Is this actually a good thing? So, just how deep does this rabbit hole go? Well, let's start by getting a handle on how deeply AI has already woven itself into the very fabric of our financial system. And I'm not talking about the future, this is the reality, right now. Yeah, in today's markets, which are just unbelievably fast, AI isn't some fancy add-on. It's an absolute necessity. You can think of it like a super-powered magnifying glass, scanning a whole mountain of data, news, stats, reports, to find those tiny hidden signals that are basically invisible to the rest of us. Okay, so what do we actually mean when we say AI here? It's not just one thing. It's really a whole spectrum of machine intelligence. You've got AIs that try to mimic human intuition and behavior on one side, and on the other, you have these purely rational machines, just calculating the most logical path to a goal. And guess what? Both are now huge players in the world of finance. All right, let's get into the exciting part of this whole revolution. How is AI promising to make investing smarter, faster, and maybe even more accessible for everybody? One of the biggest weapons in the AI arsenal is something called natural language processing, or NLP. To put it simply, this is how we teach computers to read and understand our language, and not just the words, but the feeling and the context behind them. And this is where it gets seriously impressive. These algorithms can basically drink from the fire hose of information. We're talking annual reports, news articles, millions of tweets, and pull out market-moving insights in seconds. That's a job that would take a human analyst weeks, maybe even months. And then we've got these things, artificial neural networks. Just like the name says, they're designed to kind of mimic the human brain. And their superpower? Finding these subtle, incredibly complex patterns in data that even the smartest humans would probably miss. So these neural networks are kind of like crystal balls for finance. They can help forecast which stocks might just take off, they can figure out the best way to allocate assets, and they can even predict if a company is heading for bankruptcy, all by spotting those hidden connections in the data. Now, what's really revolutionary about all this is that it's not just a toy for the big Wall Street firms anymore. This super powerful technology is now finding its way to everyday investors, people like you and me. There's a whole new wave of AI-powered tools hitting the market. For just a few bucks a month, you can get access to some seriously sophisticated stock screeners or even AI assistants that you can just talk to about your investments. The potential here is just massive. We're talking about the democratization of financial advice. For the millions of people who can't afford a personal financial advisor, AI could actually be the key to getting personalized, affordable guidance to help them build their wealth. But with all this incredible power comes a really critical question. When we hand over our trust and our money to an algorithm, what are we really trusting? Can we be so sure that these tools are actually neutral? And that leads us to the other side of the coin, the darker side of this AI revolution. We have to talk about the hidden dangers and the ethical dilemmas that pop up when we let machines manage our money. Okay, this is a really critical distinction. Human bias versus algorithmic bias. See, an algorithm learns from historical data. So if that data is full of past injustices, like discriminatory lending practices, the AI can actually learn those biases and make them even worse, all while hiding its decision-making inside a black box that's almost impossible to question. And as the expert Brett Scott points out, we just can't think of this technology as being neutral. It's not just a tool we use. It's a force that's actively shaping us, changing our relationship with money, and maybe even how we see ourselves. And the risks here are very, very real. We're talking about new tech monopolies in finance, companies using AI to exploit our psychological weaknesses to make a profit, and a world where it's not even clear who's to blame when things go wrong. And all the while, regulators are in a constant race just to keep up. So where do we go from here? We can't put this genie back in the bottle. The good news is, experts are already starting to map out a course for a more responsible and ethical use of AI in finance. A pretty clear three-step plan is starting to take shape. First, we need smarter regulations that actually put positive outcomes for customers first. Second, new professional standards, including required ethics training for the people building these AIs. And third, way more transparency, like creating sandboxes where algorithms can be tested for fairness before they get unleashed on the real world.
And this quote right here, it brings us to a really crucial point. This isn't just a tech problem. It's a conversation about the fundamental purpose of the financial industry. The ethics of AI are completely tied to the ethics of finance itself and who we want that system to truly serve.
So in the end, AI in finance is a classic double-edged sword. It holds this amazing promise of a more democratic, accessible financial world, but it also carries the peril of creating even greater inequality. The tools are here. The choice of how we use them, well, that's up to us. And that leaves us with a final, crucial question about the future we all want to build.